pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello?
I think we're talking about people coming.
Can you hear me?
I'm like,
Earl?
Yes.
Okay. Before we get started, I think the question that's come up, maybe we as a group ought to start meeting in public instead of partially public and partially Zoom. I know it's not on the agenda, but what's the board think?
That'd be great. Be a lot easier to figure out what's going on and understand and hear and.
That's difficult to.
and people trying to get in and hearing and stuff, yeah. For us hearing impaired people, you know?
Yeah, that's me.
Why is that, oh,
Can't get in.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is we're still gonna have to have a Zoom, at least for Earl.
Right, but I think the majority, anybody, unless it's an ADA accommodation, needs to be here.
Jan?
Earl, you hearing that?
I agree.
Okay. You think we need a motion to do that?
I will make a
No,
motion that meetings are now held in new cafeteria. No more Zoom other than Earl, unless he wants to come back from New York, and anybody with ADA issues.
My second,
Do we have any discussion? And Peg?
Aye.
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 Hi.
Okay. So we'll get the notice out to all the administrators?
Correct.
Earl?
Yes,
Okay. I've gone through the chain of command.
exactly, okay. Thank you.
All right, now, I just sat down here. That other way, sorry. Stop organized. I am doing it. Okay.
You guys, if you look at the, second minutes, the top says April 14th this morning.
Good catch.
Just for you know, let's see.
And I did not catch that, Tammy.
I did, Tammy. It's all right, Tammy, nobody's perfect. Okay, moving on to the minutes. Wednesday, May 12th, 2021, remote, in-person, public hearing, meeting minutes.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the minutes, public minutes of May 12th with a couple of corrections. Bob Adams was represented twice on page 1, grammatical change on page 2, another grammatical change on page 3. Oh, and somehow Stan Neto did not get in here. Sorry, I'll give that one to you, Tammy. It was Dan Neto in the minutes, and I thought I changed it to Stan, under the scoreboard update. What? Okay, because it didn't show up here. And then under the non-public minutes, when we had,
Wait a minute.
oh,
We ain't done this one yet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. It's still the public.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Under number 10 on page 4, I added September 25th, 2013, because we did go through 3 of them that night.
What's that date again? September?
25th,
Okay.
2013.
Did I have a second on that?
Second,
Melissa, thank you. Did anybody else have any corrections? Peg?
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Aye.
Okay, going to Wednesday, May 12th, remote, in-person, non-public meeting minutes.
I will make a motion to approve those with the only change being the date from April 14th to May 12th.
Second,
Who was that?
Emily.
Emily, thank you, Emily. Anybody else have any corrections? Peg?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. Any public comments?
Come on, Larry.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Speaker, please. Sorry to point, it's
What
rude.
is the order of the meeting going to be?
What do you mean, the order of the meeting?
Are we having a discussion of the exploration committee?
Earl,
It's under board committees.
will be discussed.
Number 7.
Oh, okay.
And, in that case, I will ask the board if they are familiar with Public Law 301.
Not me and anybody else.
That is the state law, section 1315, which is the state law requiring child immunization entering daycare, child care, preschool, or school. It is a public law. It is part of the oath that the school board takes to support the Constitution of the nation. I trust you all support that law. If anyone doesn't, just say so.
I don't.
One down, one doesn't support it. Naturally, there's no conflict with your oath. Anybody else not support it?
I can't ease it without reading it first.
All you have to do is agree that you support a law of the state of New Hampshire that you took your oath to support the Constitution of.
I asked you, when you, comments to me, Larry, please.
The point would be that if it is the law of the state of New Hampshire, and our oath is to the Constitution and the laws and regulations of the state, then there's no argument as to whether or not we support it.
Well, the issue, you're requiring that everybody be vaccinated?
That's a law that violates the Constitution.
That's right.
Well,
Not required, uphold
I
it.
think that particular issue is a lot more complex than the other issues.
This.
I think people, well, I won't go there. Do I believe in the Constitution? Anything else, Larry?
So do I, which is why I don't believe in mandated vaccines.
I'm sorry?
Not on that topic.
Okay, anybody else? Moving on. Earl, you're on.
Okay, the first thing we're gonna do, I sent some information, and Susan Welch is on Zoom, and Jan has some info that, we gave her when we met in our admin team, and she's gonna go over an update regarding masks and that type of thing. Susan, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, Susan upstairs?
Susan, are you on?
I don't see her.
Okay, Jan has the information there that she just gave you. And as we, wait for her, Jan could give you her report regarding the high school, middle high school, Spirit Week and that type of thing. Okay, Jan?
This would apply to both MES and Newt, so, they just last Thursday had another update from the state, they meet every 2 weeks. The big thing they're pushing, I gave you an illustration of the Swiss cheese model of, protection, the distancing masks hand washing, don't touch your face, don't be within 6 feet of somebody for 10 or more minutes, testing if you have symptoms, air filtration of the outdoors when you can, et cetera. As you guys are probably aware, the CDC did, change their, protocols or procedures. If somebody was fully vaccinated, they did not need to wear a mask, inside or outdoors. However, all the guidance that's come out of the state is that does not apply to K-12 schools. So it's in other, areas. But we did look at ways that we could maybe relax some of our mask mandates. So that's the last page. The solutions are in the proposal. The students continue to wear a mask anytime they're up and about, in the hallways, on a bus, moving about the classroom, that sort of thing. On the bus, they would be required to wear their mask if 6 feet of physical distancing could not be maintained, and that would be a student every other seat, which right now we don't have, so they would still need to wear their mask on the bus. If they're inside a classroom and sitting at their seat, as long as they're still within the 3 feet of physical distancing that we set up and then behind their shield, that the students could remove their masks at that time. So that's the proposal that's different, is when students are seated at their seats behind their shield, they could remove their masks. Teachers still cannot wear their shield while teaching in front of the class, again, while students are behind their shields. Physical distancing while outside is recommended but not required. So again, the CDC removed that, but it was for vaccinated individuals.
Question, when they say that on that one, they're talking about the 3 or the 6 feet? On that physical distancing outside? Any? Okay, all right, go ahead.
It's recommended that students using the playground equipment do wear a mask because they cannot maintain the 3 feet distancing.
Okay, there it is, okay.
So, we would continue to still limit our visitors, and visitors would be required to wear masks. So what we'd like to do is basically the major change is that once students are seated behind their shield at their desk, they could remove their mask.
Now, do you need a motion from the board, or are we gonna? Okay.
You guys approved our plan, so yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask a quick question. I know Earl forwarded a couple things from Dawn that I actually read, just before I got here. And I'm assuming, because I recognize it was cheese. But this kind of goes along with everything that was in both of those PDF PowerPoint things,
There
so.
were, again, they both came from the state, but the PowerPoint was their last update from Dr. Chen. And then, the other form was, the state changed, I think they're calling it universal guidelines. So it was the state's new universal guidelines that just came out about 10 days ago.
Is this just for the remainder of this year?
For the remainder of this year. So if things stay the same, we're looking at however we end the year here to see how we start the year next fall.
But we're not voting on that right now.
No, we're not voting on that. But if we allow that now and things don't get worse over the summer, we would probably do that. But yes, all we're talking about right now is the next few weeks.
Okay. I will make a motion to go along with the proposal for MES and Newton mask wearing based on CDC guidelines.
Can we put the date in there?
Starting tomorrow?
No, the beginning date and the ending date.
Tomorrow, which is the 27th, May 27th through June 18th.
Well, I think people are gonna be in the school after June 18th, aren't they?
For summer school.
Yeah, I think we,
Oh.
To August 10th, so do you want to do it through August 10th?
Okay, yep, that's fine. I keep forgetting about summer school.
okay. Everybody hear that?
Yes,
Everybody comfortable with that?
yes.
Peg made that motion? You got that, Tammy? Yep. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Melissa, thank you. Do we have any more discussion on that issue? Peg?
Aye.
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 Go ahead, Jen, thank you.
Okay, Susan just came on. Susan, everything is all set. It's approved.
Oh, great. I just caught the end of it, sorry. Because I'm having technical problems getting on, but, oh, that's great. So I'll let Dawn know, and, yeah, it might be a little cooler at recess, so that'll be good.
Susan, do you want to
Thank
talk
you.
about the shot clinic though?
Shock clinic?
Shock?
Shock, I think you said shock.
I'm sorry.
Oh, boy, all right.
We'll get in trouble with that one. Go ahead, Jen.
Well, let Susan, if you want to talk about you and Don coordinating for the clinic here at school.
Yes, actually, they contacted us this afternoon, and it looks like they're looking at June 2nd. I think Don put it out there for a drive-by clinic, so it'd be something we'd have outdoors, and it's open to anybody, families and students 12 and above. And it looks like they're gonna try to go for maybe 3 to 6. They're gonna try to capture some families at dismissal, anybody that might be interested.
Go ahead.
When is the date on that?
June 2nd.
I believe it's June 2nd. That's what she was looking at. Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Okay, will they still be offering the one in Rochester on on the Saturday?
Well, they already got vaccinated on the last time, because mine got vaccinated,
Yeah.
same as yours, so it would be June 5th.
Okay, all
Anyone
right.
who had the first vaccine to that still has the second vaccine. They're also still offering some Monday through Friday drop-in ones. But this would be one that they came here. Our question is, do you think 3 to 6 will capture, late enough to capture parents who?
Yeah,
No.
I think that's great.
I think a lot of parents get out of work at between 5 and 5:30 and then drive back. So I think maybe till 7 would be a better extra time. I'm just thinking,
Because we discussed 4 to 7, but then they want to catch people at release time. Do you think they would do 3 to 7, Susan?
I'm not sure. I know Dawn was kind of going back and forth with her, so I mean, we certainly can put it out there for the later time.
I think their concern is that the kids are for 4 hours and
I know they want us to give them kind of an approximate of how many families might show interest on Tuesday, just so they know how much to bring.
So are we sending out a flyer or anything?
send out well, at least the information and ask them to RSVP to the school nurse picnic.
Yeah,
Okay. Go ahead.
Then I gave you our prom update. So our grand march went very well. We had first the juniors in, had been walked through, Chip selected the prom king and queen for the juniors, and then when they left, we had the seniors. Seniors, went down to Portsmouth Country Club. Well, vendor on the end, but our students were good at what they were not called. So the success.
So that was page 8?
That was page 8, yes.
Okay.
I want to let you know, we did finish our senior trip itinerary. We needed to have the final numbers of students who were going to come. So we have 11 students that will be going. It will be outdoor activities, so we'll be leaving through Lincoln. So again, we'll only have 11 students on the bus, so it'll be well spread out. We're going to go to the Alpine Adventure. 9 of us will be zip lining, and 2 who don't want to do that will be going with Mr. Cal to the room, walking through the food.
What day is that, Jim?
That is on June 5th.
Thank you.
Little Crater Heights. We'll see how this is like. Then we're going to come back to Lincoln for lunch, the ice cream, play mini golf, and then we'll be going to another Alpine Adventure where it's an open air Jeep. We're back on the bus at 4:30. They'll stop for dinner on the way home. We'll be back to you by 7.
Okay.
And then I'm going to talk some about 8th grade promotion celebration. So I'm just going to talk, but I did make it grid if it makes it easier to understand what I'm talking.
Thank you. Well.
So I have 41 8th graders that have not been on the stage, seat separation. So what we'll do, we'll only have probably 40 attend. We put them in rows of 5, so we'll have 8 rows of 5. We will have them facing each other 14 centers will come. And then there'll be at least 8 feet before the family starts. Families will be able to bring 3 people. There'll be 3 feet between, side to side of parents and front to back of parents. Jen and I finished measuring today, we will be able to fit, 10 rows, in the gym with the suite. So, as soon as I be able to set out for our 8th grade, celebration, what we would have is, students would come on stage. The only people on stage would be, myself, class advisors, and school board members would like to attend. Students would come up, get their certificate, award, go back down around, come in. Nobody would be ready to maintain it. To do that, we should do.
So what time?
6 p.m. That's must as well as we will go forward with that plan.
Okay, anything else?
No, but I have a question going back to reading all of that. Susan, are you still there or is she gone? I can't tell. One of the things that concerned me was that I don't know where people get tested now, but one of the comments was something about public New Hampshire testing sites are going to be closing down. So if I need to have a test, I need to go to my doctor. And I'm just concerned about, you know, all the charges for these people and saying, and it's like,
Yep. Unfortunately, we don't control the testing centers, but yes, as cases are dropping and testing is dropping, they're starting to close testing centers.
right. But anyway, just a comment that, you know, I look out for people's money.
We haven't heard exactly yet when they're closing, but they did mention that, you know, the vaccine sites and stuff are, you know, gonna be phasing out. So we just didn't get any dates yet.
Okay, thank you, Susan. I wasn't sure whether you were still there or not.
I'm
See your
still
face,
here.
so, thank you.
And then the only other thing is the ESSER 3 money, coming out. Jen and I in the last week have gone to 2 webinars on it now. But to stay clear on all the deadlines, but that's the amount we're getting, so you see it's just short of $1.1 million. So hoops to jump through and boxes to check. The big thing here, I kind of put the timeline, the first things that we have to have done. Tuesday, the GEPA has to get signed and then there's some questions we have to answer for that. And then there is a 16-page spreadsheet of data that we have to have for them. And so that is due to 23rd, along with what our fall reopening plan will be. So that's the big work we'll be doing over the next one, that's school ends, with graduation and everything else. It's not their deadline, it's the federal government's deadline. And then there are requirements throughout the year that we have to get people, parents, we have to update the plan, and we have to meet those deadlines. There's things in time. We'll be working on.
Now, do you have a list? Maybe it's too early to know what this money can be used for.
We're just starting that. They are allowing it for buildings for the first time, so it can do windows, doors, HVAC, roofs, that sort of thing. There were people who had plans for the summer, and the hoops they had to jump through to meet the federal government requirements. They would have to basically start their contract, the bid process over. So people who've already planned stuff for the summer probably won't get it reimbursed, through this grant. But we have 3 years through September 30th of 2024.
That'd be the last deadline to spend the money?
It does.
So it would be this September,
September of 2024, so we have 3 years.
3 years? So it'll start this September, 2021.
It'll start, I think, as soon as our stuff is approved.
Okay, 3 years, 3
July
years.
1st is early.
Okay.
I'd like to say thank you to you and Jen for all the hoops you guys.
Yeah.
So the amount of money that you've been able to secure is amazing. Thank you so much.
I was gonna say, the grant this year, I think, is 1.1 million total, so we're gonna be up to 2.2 million.
It's unbelievable.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Jessica's grant alone, she's probably spent 12 hours on already.
Share our,
I will share with you guys.
thank you.
I think we need a permanent grant coordinator. What's that?
She was up till after 9 o'clock last night.
Okay, thank you. Earl,
Okay, that's the administrative report.
that's it?
Yep.
You don't have anything?
Nope, everything is within the reports that we have during the course of the night.
Now, what about, that other committee? When's that coming? 7, 8?
The school board committee.
I'm sorry?
Underneath school board committee.
Number 7.
Number seven.
That's what I told Larry Brown.
Yeah, because they don't, it's not written there.
Well, it's under board committee. It's a board
Committee,
committee.
board reports.
Huh?
It says committee and board member reports, and they're a committee.
So we have no physical information for us then?
No, they're going to discuss it. It's just an update. They're not ready to
They
give
are-
a whole.
Okay, all right.
They're the physical manifestation.
Okay, so you're all, what about the secondary update?
That's what Jan just gave us, maybe?
We're all set? Moving
We're
on.
set. Yeah, everything is complete.
Okay, school bus bids. Tim, you're on.
Good evening.
Page 9.
I want the bid submitted.
And just to let you know, I'm getting quite a storm outside my house at the moment. So if for some reason I just totally disappear, know that hopefully I'm safe, but I'll log back in as quick as I can. But just to keep you on the up and up about that. So we put out to bid for a new school bus, 77 passenger. The RFPs were sent out and we got 3 that responded back. A Bluebird bus, an international bus through DATCO, and a Thomas bus through WC Cressy. So you can see the prices here. And you can also see the recommendation. At this time, I wouldn't recommend going with the cheapest bus. I would go with the second one, which is WC Cressy for $93,746. It is $1,700 more than the Bluebird bus, but my main purpose for going with WC Cressy is because that's our current fleet, is the Thomas school buses, and with Bluebird, I would need, new repair stuff that we do in-house, and I think that would, over the life of the vehicle, outweigh the 1,700. But that's my recommendation at this time.
I have a question for Jan Radowitz. Jan, out of that ESSA money, 3, can we buy a bus?
We did not see anything in our budget.
Can we have?
Well, we can look.
It's a roof.
It's a roof.
We'll ask, if that was on the.
Say it's a modular classroom.
Right.
There you go, modular classroom. I like that. Okay, I do have a question for Tim.
Go ahead.
Tim, you've got the total and then the lease for 5 years. What would be the monthly or just the yearly breakdown? I mean, do I just divide the 93 by 5?
It's right around 19,000 a year, and the prices have gone up about 10,000 over the course of the last couple years, and we were running around 18. But obviously, once all the financing and whatnot is totally calculated out, I would be able to give you a more definite. But it is right around the 19,000 mark.
And that was the budget amount, right, in the operating budget that's been approved?
Yes.
Thank you, that's what I thought.
So the interest would be about $7,000?
I'm not sure what the interest would be at this time.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion that we buy the W.C. Creasy and Sons, but for a 5-year, contract, the $93,746.
I will second that.
Do we have any more discussion? Okay?
Aye.
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 Okay, Tim.
It's all yours.
Thank you so
All
much.
done. All done.
And I know it's not on the agenda, but since we're on transportation, do you mind if I just take a moment?
I don't care.
Okay.
Everybody's agreeable. Everybody's smiling. Go ahead.
All right, great. So I just, today I talked at the admin meeting to the other administrators, just to kind of bring them up to speed. Unfortunately, we have not had many people banging at the door to become school bus drivers. And consequently, over the course of the past month or so, we've ended up losing a couple of our drivers, one with a resignation and the other due to a medical issue. So just being proactive, what we're looking to do, just so that we don't run into any issues like any of the other school districts have, and find ourselves on any particular day with no plan and not sure how to get the kids to and from school. So we're coming up with a plan to reduce the runs from 4 routes to 3 routes in the event that on any particular day we run into an issue that we don't have an extra driver. Right now, we're getting things covered between myself and we have one sub driver that comes in, but she works a full-time job. So consequently, we're at the mercy of that schedule. But knowing, looking at the schedule, we may run into some issues in the very near future that we don't have enough drivers to cover all the runs. So we're, like I said, we're in the process of trying to create a plan to be able to condense those routes and be able to accomplish getting the kids to and from school. The only thing that it looks like at this time, well, there's 2 things that it looks like at this time. One, obviously the run would be longer than what people are accustomed to. And the other piece is that we would have more kids on the bus, which I know back a couple meetings ago, obviously to reopen, the board, made it aware that we would be putting additional kids on the bus. But in the process of trying to work the routes, we're trying to obviously work the numbers as well, the student numbers, to keep the buses as equal so that we don't have one that's overloaded more than the other. So I just wanted to update you folks on that. And, it may be, if it's something that we know that we're going to run into, then obviously we'll put notice out as much in advance as possible that something like this is going to happen. Everyone will receive a copy of the updated routes, but there may be a day, for example, if somebody ended up going out sick due to COVID or just a general sickness, and it's a last minute thing, then obviously, just like with like a snow day, they would get the announcement in the morning that there had been a change. So, but this way they would have the updated routes ahead of time.
Okay, I just have another question for you. And I like to, I know you're aware of policy EEA-R, and I just have a question on number 3. Students shall be on time at the point of pickup. The The bus cannot wait for those who are not on time. If a student misses the bus, it is the parent's responsibility to transport the student to school. Do we have a lot of those?
There are a few throughout town, that, on different occasions that, the bus will pull up and for whatever reason, the child's running behind.
So will this make it more difficult if we go from 4 runs to 3?
Other than, like I said, adding, additional time, whether it be the morning or the afternoon, that would be the only thing. Obviously, say for example, if the run currently starts now at 6:30, it may start at 6:20, in order to get all the kids picked up. So that time adjustment, that's why we want to give as much notice to parents, so that they'll be able to review the routes and know the time that the bus would be coming, and just to keep them in the loop as much as possible, so that on a particular day that we run into an issue, they won't have an issue either, as far as getting to the bus on time or meeting the bus at the end of the day on time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do you have anything else, Tim?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, moving on, 5B.
What was that policy again? That's what it was, EE what?
I put it away. EEA-R, and it was number 3. Okay, moving on, B, this is just schedule for next year. The ones with the asterisks, there's 1, 2, there's 3 dates. Either we got vacation or holiday. I don't know what the board would like to do about those days. I don't know if the board wants to meet during the summer. Maybe we could get our facility up and going and get our policy committee up and going and those policies caught up to date during the summer. It's up to the board.
Don't we usually just meet once a month in the summer?
That's up to the board.
Make a motion?
For what?
To meet once a month in the summer.
Well, we gotta get these policies caught up.
Yeah, policy, we need to start with the facilities too, Doug. I mean, there's
Yes.
a lot that needs to be done, so
We will.
if we don't have a regular meeting, maybe we just call a policy and then call a facilities. I mean, I'm just concerned that we aren't accomplishing a lot.
I agree.
I think one meeting in July works well, but in August, we're trying to get our handbooks, you remember how big those are?
Yep.
So we have to get our handbooks approved, we have to get hiring done, we don't have to have our reopening plan, so I think we really need to.
So we're gonna meet the 2 weeks in June, ending 2021,
Yeah.
okay? So we wanna meet August 11th and 25th. So what day in July would we like to cancel? Toss a coin.
14th.
14? I have no problem with that. Anybody else?
Okay, so July?
What's that?
Yeah, no,
I can't hear you.
So are you amending your motion?
They are, I didn't make a motion.
I can't hear anything, ladies. What's going on?
I make a motion to get rid
For
of
what?
July 14th. Let me finish. To get rid of July 14th.
Okay, now, do we wanna meet November 24th,
No,
No.
23rd of February,
no,
and April 27th?
no.
Okay, we want to include them in that motion?
Sure.
Okay, get that, Tammy?
No, November 24th, no, February 23rd, and April 27th?
Correct. We got 4 days. April 14th? Okay, and then the other 3. July, sorry. My finger's throbbing. Okay. All right, did I have a second?
Yes.
Who was that? Oh, Abigail? Okay. What's,
What?
Explain to you guys at town hall.
we have a problem at the town hall. We don't have anybody to run that system.
Yeah.
It's a new system.
Or should we change the location to here?
I know that, yeah. I think we better, yes, good catch.
Oh, yeah, something again?
Okay, let me vote on this.
Board.
Well, I think Chris Jacob is trying to get people trained. So eventually, if we get it done, we can get somebody to be trained, like I think Bob was doing it before. To get that done again, we can go back there. Then we won't be able to do Zoom, or would have to call in. Okay, Peg? on-
Aye.
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 Okay, do we want to change that heading? Thank you, Jan.
Okay, I do have a question, though, if we are canceling one of the meetings in July. I mean, I think we really need to pin down when the policy and when the facilities committees are gonna meet. I mean, I know we were gonna meet today for facilities, but that was, I can't think of the word. That was
Way late.
pushed out for something else.
The policy committee will meet, June 9th.
Yeah, we said that, yeah.
Okay, at 5 o'clock?
June 9th? Oh, that's okay.
What's that?
Never mind.
5:30. I
5:30.
can't be here before 5:30.
Well, we got a problem, because the meeting's gotta be done by quarter of, because I can't, if I go beyond quarter of, I can't get myself prepared.
Well, I left work to be here for 5:30 to make for a meeting. I can't keep doing that, constantly leaving work to make it be here. I'm sorry, I have to work.
Well, I understand that, but you don't necessarily have to meet that night. You can meet any night you want. All you have to do is post it. We can try it, see how it works.
Okay.
So you will meet on the 9th at 5:30. No, policy. All right. Okay. All right, then I make a motion that we change the location on the schedule to the CAF.
I'll second that.
Do we have any discussion at 6 PM? Any discussion? Peg?
Aye.
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 Okay, it's changed. Okay.
Okay, if they're doing policy on the 9th, then Doug, are we gonna do the 23rd? June 23rd.
Yeah, if you want to do that, I'm happy. Can we meet earlier?
Yeah, I can meet whenever you and Bob can meet.
Okay, we can discuss it with, okay, we'll meet, June 23rd. We'll discuss it with Bob and see what we can get done.
Okay, very good, thank you.
So we're all set with this document?
Yep.
Old business? I will, because of your comment, I will check with Chris and see what the status is on getting people trained. So that if I could make a note to myself. No old business, anybody?
I'm home.
How's our list doing, Doug? Our old business list, we're doing pretty well with it, aren't we?
I think we added, oh, you mean that to-do list?
Right, the to-do list.
I think we added the Damon House on that. The only thing
Right.
we've gotten, now, I gotta ask, Gordon, what's the status on that building on New Ridge?
Right.
You know, we got one item off, and that was the ball field at MES. We need to add the Damon House, and I did,
You did add it to your list, the last meeting.
yeah, so, well, we got all that money, we definitely probably could do something with the Damon House. But that's,
The extra funds could be used to redo or renovate the
All right, put that in.
can we build a new building?
Can you fix my pole with those funds?
Okay. Okay, now the old business, Earl, on number 7, committee board member reports.
Okay, Abigail can spring into action with our hardworking exploratory committee. And our people are there, Laura Ott, Heather Madu, and Sally Riley, who the whole committee has been working extraordinarily hard, and especially the four, including the four right there, to give an update. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Abigail.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to, before the different groups give their updates, I just kind of wanted to give an overall, just kind of address some concerns, maybe some misconceptions about what our purpose is and what we're doing. Also, just acknowledge some of the emotions surrounding this. I know that there's a lot, there are people who are worried. There's even some sadness around the idea of us possibly sending kids to another district. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, and we totally get that. We are aware of that as a committee. We are just, and it's certainly, this committee is not, we're not saying that Newt is not a good enough school and we have to send the kids somewhere. And even though we are looking into costs and stuff, even if we discover that it's less expensive, it may not necessarily be a good idea, which is why we're looking at the whole picture, getting feedback from the community and all those other things. We are definitely not the only school in New Hampshire that is having these discussions. There are many schools that are facing declining enrollment, strained budgets, old buildings, which come with their own sets of challenges, and residents who are concerned about ever increasing, tax costs. So we just really wanted to look at all of this. So I'm actually glad we're being proactive and we're looking at this in a very transparent way. There's been a couple of schools just recently in the news. Manchester just voted to combine 3 high schools into one. St. Mary's Academy in Dover and St. Elizabeth Seton in Rochester are talking about combining into one school in Gonick. So there are people that are looking into these options. As far as legal concerns, there are none. As a committee, we are not signing any contracts. We're not getting into any legal agreements. What we are doing is we are gathering information, looking into all the options, again, getting feedback. We're not making any final decisions. We're going to update the board. We can get feedback and recommendations from them, but at the end of the day, it's the voters who decide, and that is as it should be. So I'm going to let the facilitators of the groups, they've been working really, really hard. I'll let them give you guys an update. And thank you very much, you guys. You're very appreciated.
Good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Laura Turgeon, or Ott, maiden name. I am the area agreement facilitator along with Tammy Crandall for Group 1. Our group primarily was tasked with going back in history. So we went back many, many years to discover and to look at the old options that Newt had for working with other schools. Not just sending our kids to other schools, but other schools coming to Newt as well. We've gathered all that information. We still have a few more tidbits of information that are hiding that we're looking for. We're hoping to gather all of that. Once we get that, that's going to be in a depository forever, hopefully, so that if this ever comes up again, it's there. We have a transparent view of all of the information that we have done, that many people in this town have done over the last 20 years. So be patient as we gather that information. We're having to look in many different areas. So the library, we've gone to Somersworth to get, what they sent to us, Rochester, it's been, Wakefield, it's been a chore. Along with my group, we have Nate Castle, Larry Brown, and Denise Trafton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi all. I'm Heather Minoff, and myself and Abby are co-facilitating a couple of the groups. So the purpose of the group I am in and that Abby is working on is to complete an investigation of an arrangement for complete school choice for middle and high schools. We've done a lot of research into looking into combining Miller High Schools with another school district, as well as determining the cost for sending kids to those schools and or keeping them at Milton. So we're doing the cost for both. Our first action was to have conversations with Barrington. So we spoke with the Barrington superintendent and the board chair to understand how they felt about having school choice for their community. So they currently have 3 school options. They have Co-Brown, Dover, and Oyster River. So the superintendent indicated that it was a great option for their community, both financially and educationally. He advised having that one cost per pupil is really helpful. They don't have any surprises. Their current cost per pupil for Dover and Co-Brown is about $14,000. In addition to the conversations with other schools that have utilized a similar model, we're investigating, the NAEP, the School Business Administrator, has done a lot of work, thank you, Nate, in order to complete an expense report and a building analysis in order to show the amount of work that needs to be done. So these reports show that the current operating cost for the high school is about $3,670,685. So in addition to the operating costs, we found that the building needs up to $3,334,000 in repairs, which is not currently in the budget, and of course this comes down to taxpayers. I know that this particular analysis was done a few years ago, so maybe a little bit of an adjustment just due to general uptick in labor costs and materials. For the middle school, it was determined there's a total operating budget of $2,491,000, and the total cost for repairs are $294,000. So although cost per pupil is not very simply broken down, we were able to get a range of about $23,500 per student at Milton. So it's about a $10,000 difference per student on what Barrington currently pays. In addition to the cost when evaluating school choice, as Abby said, we're evaluating many, many other factors, including like travel time. I know right now, you know, we are sending 14 out of 17 of the seniors to Dover High. So I think the travel time there, we're just taking all those factors into consideration. We have sent a list of about 25 questions to Alton, Dover, Farmington, North Berwick, Rochester, and Somersworth to understand what schools may benefit our children the most. So some of the questions we've asked are enrollment size, what extracurricular activities they have, what clubs or sports, educational services, special educational services, course offering, and of course cost per pupil. So once this information is received back, we will compile it into an easy-to-read chart and ensure all members of the community receive this information in order to make an educated decision when it comes time to vote. So lastly, I want to end with the fact that we are doing our best to gather the facts and refrain from including our personal opinions in this research. I recognize this is a really sensitive subject for all. And this absolutely in no way, shape, or form takes away from how incredible the school staff is and what they've had to overcome in the last year. This is truly being done to see what options are available to put our children in a better situation. So thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Comment. At the SAU right now, there's a report from Rochester and a report from Farmington. I think it's supposed to go to you.
I think it's Rochester and Somersworth.
Farmington. And Farmington.
And Farmington that came in.
Yeah. And it might be a third one, but I didn't open that letter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sally Riley, and I'm actually ended up on two committees. kind of reading them by default. One of the things that our committee was formed, a committee to investigate the interests of other schools in towns that may be interested in taking our students. And so those towns, just so you know, who we contacted, the superintendent did, was Alton, Dover, Durham, Farmington, North Berwick, Rochester, Sanford, Somersworth, and Wolfboro. So we contacted 9 schools. And then the superintendent told us that we were informed that 6 school districts were interested in taking Milton students. And I don't think that, at first I was kind of surprised, 6 schools wanted our students. And then when you realize what's happening with low enrollment, school budgets are being cut, then you realize why so many schools were interested. So those schools that were interested was Prospect Mountain High School, and that's in Alton. And that is made up of Barnstead and Alton. And I did a little research because it was kind of interesting how they got together. So the DOE labeled Prospect Mountain as a JMA. And I had never heard of that before. And what it stands for is Joint Maintenance Agreement. And it's a public school, and it's the only one in the state of New Hampshire. And so I was remembering back, actually, when I was quite young, and I lived in Farmington. And Farmington and Milton tried to have one of these JMAs. And then also, you might remember that Milton and Wakefield also had an attempt at this. So we also heard that from Dover and Farmington and Noble, which was a surprise to me. So that is cross state lines. So naturally, if it's cross state lines, then, you know, that brings a whole set of other problems. Not problems, but investigations. There's the Rochester Middle School and Spalding High School, and there's also Somersworth and Middle School and High School. And Somersworth, you may remember a few years ago, that they came to Milton to talk to us about taking our students. What is great about this list is the fact that they're different sized schools, so you have very large schools on that list, but you also have medium-sized schools. And I think that is, you know, a plus when we look at who's interested in taking the students. So Heather talked about it a little bit, that we're collecting information. That's all we're doing. And we certainly realize that this is a hot topic, situation. And so please know that the committee is not making any decisions. We were asked to collect information, and that is what we're doing. Right now, we are collecting information on those 6 schools. We're doing enrollment information, and I don't mean just current information, enrollment information. We're also looking at the capacity of the school. Because when you think about the capacity of the school, we want to make sure that we're not sending Milton students into a crowded school situation. We're looking at graduation rates. Graduation rates should be pretty even throughout the years. They may fluctuate a little bit, but you want to see that steady graduation rate. Also, accreditation. And we're talking about a process that is long and involved. They're looking at the facilities as well as curriculum, courses office, and it's a long process. It's a difficult process because you have to present so much information to show that your school does qualify to be accredited.
Are you looking at schools that aren't accredited as well?
Well, that's a good question, because, actually, I believe, and I just, seen a little bit of information about this, that there is one school on the list which is not accredited, but is in, the process of being accredited. So that's something that I think is, important for, everybody to look at. The other schools on there, so 5 schools are accredited, 1 I believe is not.
Right. My concern, though, is that you're leaving out some schools that may be very good schools, but for accreditation and going through the process.
We send out information to every area school.
It's just the ones that were interested.
Okay, now I'm just making sure that someone wasn't knocked off the list just because they weren't accredited.
Oh,
because-
no, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. No, as a matter of fact, the committee brainstormed to see what schools were around. And you can see that we contacted Durham, Oyster River. So we really didn't leave any schools unsure. And when you think about, somebody said Noble, which is, and I was surprised when somebody said that, but that's in Maine, and then I'm thinking in my head, oh, Maine, then that means, a whole set of things that we need to investigate to go across state lines. And Sanford is another one. So we absolutely, did not, I don't think we left out any schools within the area. And if, somebody feels that we did leave a school out, then, we can contact them. Because as our role of the committee is to gather information to find out the interests of the schools. So we take that very seriously. Farmington, we mentioned Farmington, Noble, Rochester, and Somersworth, who was here before. Do you have a question?
No.
You look like you have a question.
Well,
Okay. So after we got these 6 schools identified that said that they were interested, we really felt that we need to make sure that we gathered information about these schools. Because we want to know, what are the graduation rates, we want to know what is the student-teacher ratio, which was a question that came up many times in the comment section of our survey. So we could tell that the student-teacher ratio was very important, so small class sizes. And I want to just mention about the student-teacher ratio, because it's an average. So if you have a class that has 20 students in it, and you have another class that has 5 students in it, when you average that out, it's 12.5 if you have a half a student. But anyway, so we need to all understand that we're talking about an average of class size. Also, we're looking at the New Hampshire proficiency scores for reading and math. And this is what we call trend data. So trend data is we're looking at 3 years of data to see what those scores were. So you want to see you don't want to see ups and downs. You want to see some steady kind of scores, and you hope the scores are in the higher level. The other thing that we're looking at is special education services. We're looking at in-house programs that would be available to the students, as well as speech, OT, PT, and maybe some programs that kids would have access to for going out of district if they needed that service. We're also looking at in-house AP courses, advanced placement courses. And we're looking at, because this is another thing that came up in the survey, was the distance time on the bus to get to the interested school. So we were talking about calculating that from New High School, what is the distance to go to Rochester? What is the distance to go to Alton? So we're talking about the distance, and we're looking at the time also. Then we were talking about average SAT scores, and also any on-site career and technology educational centers, looking at ROTC offerings. You know, are there any schools on the list that offer the ROTC? And there are two, because we know that there may be some students who want that career path. And then, of course, extracurricular activities and sports, and then tuition, transportation, special education courses. So what the plan is that we would put this on a chart that would be easy for people to compare and contrast the different schools. So when it comes time to make a decision, whether we send students out or we keep them here, we can have a clear picture of looking at all the facts. And that's, I think, what we most want. And the thing that I want to make sure that we let you all know that we're collecting this data, and the committee the group is very diligent about making sure that we verify the data. In other words, I do not want to put something on a chart that is incorrect. So we're really looking and researching the data, and we're looking in three places. We're looking at the New Hampshire Department of Education, we're looking at district and school websites, and then we're looking at the district questionnaires that was alluded to early. And those questionnaires are due back from school on the 29th, and I think you said that maybe 3 have come back.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, so that is great. So that tells you, you know, they're really interested because they're getting the material in early. So before, though, we put something on a chart, we need to make sure that we have at least 2 verifications about that data. And if there is still discrepancy, then what we'll do is contact the schools to make sure that we have the correct information. For example, graduation rates. You can get those rates on the DOE website. And so I know in talking to some people, there may have been some discrepancies about that. And so we want to make sure that we paint an accurate picture. And we don't want to do disservice to any school district by putting, you know, misinformation on there. So this group is still in the process of collecting and adding items and researching. So the next step for us is to look at those questionnaires from the schools, verify the data, and put that data on the chart. So that's where we are with that committee. And the next committee has to do with the intangible factor committee. And so at first I was like, intangible factor committee, what is that? And so, actually the superintendent very nicely explained it to us. And he was talking about the fact that you make a decision that cannot be expressed by money, by monetary. It is other factors. For example, like staying in the district, intangible factor could be hometown school, less time on the bus, class size. Or going out of district, intangible factor could be wider selection of courses, you know, opportunities for more sports or extracurricular activities. But purpose was to collect the information just on the intangible factors. Well, as we had more discussions at the committee and the group level, we quickly found out, we're saying, hey, does the town even know that we're doing this? With the pandemic and everything that was going on, I myself was a little surprised when I got contacted by the superintendent saying, we're starting the committee. And it was like, oh, I kind of put that in the back of my mind. And so we started talking about, does the town know that we're doing this? And when the town finds out, are they going to be really upset because they were left out of the loop? And so we decided that, as the committee as a whole, that we needed to get the word out to the town. So the way that we talked about some suggestions, and one suggestion was a bulk mailing. You know, how we get those bulk mailings about the warrant articles. So we were thinking, wow, that would really be great. The only thing is, we found out that it's expensive and that, we need to identify a source of funding for that. So we're still kind of, looking at that. We haven't nailed that down yet. But the second one, had to do with a survey. And so the committee approved a survey. So the next thing was putting the survey together. And I have to thank Jan with my deepest, sincerest thank you, Jan, for helping with that, because she is the goddess of Google surveys. She really is. And she helped walk us through this. So the survey, and today, and I have to say, I did run downstairs to look at my computer to see at the last minute before I came here, if there were any other surveys that came back. I had 152 survey responses yesterday, and when I left tonight, it was 154. So, and certainly people can add to this, but I was hoping for at least 200, but hey, we'll take 154 at this point, and maybe we'll get more. So the survey started out by asking people's role in the community. We wanted to know who were the people that were answering the survey. So we had 200 different roles. And you might say, well, you only had 154. How did you come up with 200? It's because people had dual roles. In other words, they could have been a former student, but they're also a resident of Milton. So we had 8 current students who answered the survey. We had 17 former students answer the survey. And the biggest group were, of course, parents of current or former students. That was 110. And then we had 65 residents of Milton or Milton Mills that answered the survey. And so when we got that information, then we moved on to the next section of the survey. And this was probably the most difficult for people, was to rank order the different items that we had. And so we had 8 items, and we asked people to rank them 1 to 8. And I did have some family members and some other people contact me and say, what do you mean I have to choose one first choice? I have at least 3 or 4 first choices. And so what I was trying to explain to them, that the reason why we're asking you to only use one number once was that we really wanted to know people's priorities. And so it was like a forced choice survey, and that's what they call it, forced choice. In other words, you have to make a choice for your number one. And I realized with 154 now answers to the survey, it's a snapshot, a very small snapshot of the total population in Milton. So I don't have any illusions about this at all. It's only 152, or 154 it ended up this afternoon. So it's no indication, and I want to make sure everybody understands that, it's no indication of how the whole town feels. It's only that snapshot of that very limited group. So the breakdown of number one choices. 56 respondents said their first choice was wide variety of course offerings. That's from basic all the way up to college and AP. And I think even though it's just a small snapshot, I think, sometimes when, people talk about, well, the only thing that Milton cares about is to send them out to save money. And this, to me, says that's not the only thing they care about. The next first choice, 36% 34 people did say the cost of tuition and transportation was the number one choice. Then class size, 20 said that class size was the number one choice. And then 19, very close to the 20, was their access to career and tech ed courses. Then 11 said their first choice was special education services, 5 sports teams. That kind of surprised me. I thought that might be a little bit higher, but not. 3 counseling and support services, and 2 extracurricular activities. The comment sections, people had a lot to say. And they range from one word to paragraphs. And so when I wanted to share some of the comments with the board and the community, and there were so many comments that I could have picked. I just tried to pick ones that kind of reflected what all the comments were. And so I just want to read some of those comments. And I picked 3 at random, and I do not know who wrote these comments. So for staying in Milton, the first comment was short bus ride, smaller classes that help support the kids with more help from the teacher. The second one for staying in Milton was pride, small, tight community, and less bullying. The third comment was small class sizes, more personal attention, better chance to play sports or be in extracurricular activities. For students being sent out of district, the comments included more options for education and careers. Second one was more choices of classes and higher end students being in classes with other students that want to learn. And some of the comments had to do with sometimes kids get pushed into higher level classes that maybe they don't want to take, and then the students who do want to take those courses seriously, sometimes that seems to be run through a thread of some of the comments that they wish that they were more high-end classes that were just for serious students, I should say. And that's how that person was treated. And the next one was better opportunities, tech schools, better education, and better life. So those were the comments, and I really urge people that if they haven't filled out the survey, please go in and do it. So, yes.
Can I just say that I think there's a date, because I reposted it on Facebook, and there's a date that says it's due by May 21st. Somebody commented on that.
Oh.
So that's probably, I don't know if that's why they're not doing it.
Oh, why I got some more, you're saying?
Why we're not getting.
Oh, why we're not getting more. So maybe it could be reposted and just say, you know, if you haven't filled it out and you want to. I think the reason why.
I can do that, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make-
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and
Look at it.
yeah, it is still open. And I'd like people to know that because I really would like to get as many people as we can. Because I think that the more we get, then it's more of an education. So, thank you very much.
I just have a question, I don't know, even if to Earl, I'm curious. We're sending the survey out to these schools, and my question to them is, will we have a voting representative on their boards?
That is one of the questions.
It is?
It is one of the questions, yeah.
Good.
Can I ask, I would like to see, because I do the minutes for these, and if this is a committee, I would like to see it on the SAU website, because it's not. That can happen, because we have the facilities, we have the policy, and then we can have the exploration. I think that should be done there.
Why not anything coming from the school would be on that site?
I agree.
It's not on there.
Well, that was my understanding when we formed that committee. It shouldn't, anything from the school, any information,
Well, that's all I'm asking. is if
yeah,
it
should be on there.
Things we put on there, that's okay.
Then I make a motion that we put the information on that?
I'll second that one.
Do I have any discussion? Peg?
Aye.
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 Anything from the school is supposed to be on there.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I've got one very important thing. I really wanted to thank the school district, the staff, the administration for all their hard work that they have done with a million students. I mean, it really is commendable. We all know how tough it is. And, I, for one, as a grandmother of a student that is in the middle school system, I appreciate, everyone's hard work. Thank you. Sorry, I, Denise, we just.
Oh, no.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in, all of you.
Thank you.
So we all set on that, Earl?
Excellent report. Thank you, group. Excellent.
Wait a minute, Larry. Do we have anything more, Earl, before we go to 8?
No, Larry's on the committee.
Oh, you got something for the committee?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got something for the committee?
Here's, for your information, St. Mary's and St. Elizabeth Seton have decided, what is the title on that? Is that Walt Disney?
Walt Disney and
They postponed it for
They-
further discussion.
They postponed it. They have the advantage of working within the autonomy hierarchy of the church. They have postponed it. They've decided not to do it. The point is, they have decided not to.
No, not definitely, they're postponing it for now.
Right.
They're not.
That means they're not.
Okay, can I ask a question, Larry? You gonna talk about this document?
When I appeared at the previous board meeting, I asked very specifically what the function of this committee was in terms of the local area agreement and RSA 195-18. Did you seek an opinion from your lawyer?
I did not, Larry, but I thought that question was answered extremely well tonight, Larry.
It is answered, but it is not the structural law of the state of New Hampshire education law. There has to be an area cooperative committee. Without that, this material, however good, is all preview, and it is the responsibility of the board to set in place an area agreement cooperative committee.
We haven't gotten to that point with any school, Larry. Are we being premature?
Because you're still dealing with the phrase PR is dismissive and not what I want. But all of the material which is on file through the State Department, through the websites of the local districts, is all background information. I had not heard, for example, the detailed review that the cooperative committee, the final committee, would be doing in terms of cohort progression through the school district, how school records would be maintained. Even something as simple as what Tim was talking about, you're now purchasing a new bus. You have anywhere from 200 to 400 students, 300 students heading out into an unknown district. That has implications for whether or not you're doing a point of service pickup, whether you're dealing with a hub, whether you're dealing with 3 buses dedicated to the new school district, whether or not you're still trying to do double duty on the school district. Those are the kinds of structural issues that cannot be answered before the operation of the formal committee.
But I don't see how, Larry, we can at this point make those decisions when we haven't even decided, the voters haven't even decided they're gonna do it.
As far as.
We haven't even got, no school has decided to take us yet.
No,
We
sir,
haven't voted on it.
that is not the point. The committee itself has the authority to make the investigation. It is a committee that investigates the possibilities of joining in an area agreement. It does not matter if any other school district is out there. The legal power and authority and arbitration has to be done according to state education law. You can't do it on your own. You need a warrant that goes to the public that says,
The voters have given us permission to do this, Larry.
no,
Yes, they did.
You tasked us with
an
this job.
exploration committee.
That's what we're doing. Exploration only.
It was Article 13. Warrant Article 13 from
Not exactly what the voters asked us to do.
Article 13 is not a warrant under 195. It is not. And I suggest you get the opinion of your council. If I'm wrong, it will not be the first time. But I suggest that this is all premature, and it is a topical dressing for a deeper process. And as you will find, for example, when you deal with surveys, Martin has surveyed 3,500 people. 2/3 of them wanted one particular outcome. The final survey was 163 people, undocumented. We have excluded sample 110 people coming from parents and others involved with students in the classroom. That is nice information, well done, but it represents the skewed sample. Those are just, that information cannot be escaped. It is good work that is being done, but it does not represent the legal requirements of state law. Go get the formal opinion of the council and write a warrant to establish a cooperative area agreement committee.
But who, if we haven't got somebody to send them someplace?
That is, read the statute.
Well, Larry, we have to have somebody we're gonna go to first.
No, you do not.
We're doing research. You wanna talk about your letter?
I leave it, to you to read it. You might find it humorous, that Walt Disney conned us. You might find it interest, that, Portsmouth, right from 3,500 people down to 103 made a decision for the future of post office.
Wasn't the 3 Mile Island, wasn't that nuclear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Built up.
And it did not matter what the nice people thought in the survey of what the problems were. The technical information was beyond the company's ability survey to answer. And that's what I'm saying right now. The exploration committee does not have the statutory power or the long-term detailed evaluation. There are 12 major topics on state law that have to be about. These are all good points, but they do not satisfy state law.
What's the RSA, Larry?
195, 18.
Colon 18?
195, 18, and also, 195, A14. You should be planning to discuss the impact of practical projects. You should be planning ahead to discuss how cohort, someone who's in the 9th grade, is going to get a series of courses that will permit them to graduate and how freshmen coming in will be affected. That is addressed in some of the last work done so far regarding the breadth of courses being offered. But it's not,
Get that information if I was
and that louder.
I said, me as a community member, I could go out and get all that information and it wouldn't have anything to do with what you're saying. Or would it?
The state law says
Well, no,
that's the
me is just one person, but this is a group of people and that's the problem.
no objection to that work, but it does not meet the legal requirements of the required under state education law.
Okay, all right, anything else, Larry? Yep. Anybody else? Okay, moving on, need a motion to go into non-public.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Emily? It'll be under RSA 91A, 3(2), A, B, C, D, E, I, K, and L. Okay?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Non-public, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. Okay. We're out. Time is it? 8:05. Non-public. Okay. I make a motion that we unseal Wednesday, November 29th, 27th, non-public session minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion? Peg?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Unseal.
Can't you do them all at once?
No.
Until-
Until each one. If somebody says no,
That's what I did the last time, put them all together.
that's okay. Wednesday, August 24th, 2016. Make a motion that we unseal.
Second.
They might all be the same, I don't know. Aye.
Aye.
I
Unsealed. The minutes for Monday, May 23rd, 2016. Need a motion to unseal?
I'll make a motion to unseal those.
Second? I'll second it then. Get it done. Okay, aye,
Aye.
I
unsealed. Okay. People, we're having a problem, and I brought it up before. Things that are being said in non-public that are getting out. Okay, and I have no idea who it is. Be careful. Say what we need to say in non-public. We need to be careful. Once we get out of non-public, we're not pass that information on to anybody else. Because if the minutes are sealed and you get caught doing it, you can be removed from the school board. Please be careful. Okay, need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Emily? Aye.
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 I
Thank you, everybody, and good night. Thank you.